It's on Facebook.
Are we live?
You're live.
Welcome everybody to the afternoon on Saturday.
It's the afternoon already?
It's the afternoons.
Man.
Scott, why don't you scoot over a little bit towards the people? I guess.
You know, when the commissioner tells you to do something, I guess you just do it.
I didn't even know it was the afternoon. This morning has lasted forever. So what time we got?
I actually don't know.
So we have Gus Skibby here and
Scott Poley.
We're gonna break down this game bit by bit for all you viewers out there.
So, who is playing currently, Gus?
Currently, no one's playing, Scott.
Well, okay. Who's playing the next game? The upcoming game, we have the Expos versus the Brewers.
Yes. So we anticipate quite a pitching matchup. I gotta assume Jimmy's gonna be on the bump because Brett pitched last game, and I gotta assume their Brewers are gonna throw their ace PG. So I think it's gonna be a pitching duel. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. You know, we have come to expect some interesting things from the Expos so far this year, and I think Shantytown is getting a little full.
Yes.
There's a lot of cans on the trees.
Which is never a good sign for wiffle ball play.
Never a good sign. So I agree there's going to be a pitching duel, and I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen during this game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting one, so stick around for game time.
So Gus, thinking about while we're waiting for these teams, I think they're probably going to do a ceremonial pregame shotgun of a beer.
Oh man!
But which is just another bad idea.
Which is their third game, and they've been drinking in between games.
And this is their third shotgun.
Third shotgun this morning. So, or I guess since
this afternoon.
yeah.
So what have you seen, Gus, while we're waiting? Tell us about the last game, and maybe we'll just recap this afternoon.
Oh, it's good. It's a great idea because I think this is the first live stream today, isn't it? Oh no,
Second.
the Marlins and the Braves, the new franchises had a live stream.
Yeah.
So, what have I seen? A surprise from the Braves, my team.
Yep.
I did not expect us to go 3-0 to start the year, but I'm very pleased. Seeing the Yankees go 0-2 to start the season is brutal. The defending champs going 0-2 is a big surprise. The Expos right now are 1-1. With the addition of Brett, I expect big things, maybe a playoff appearance for the first time in their franchise history, which would be pretty neat. And the Brewers, after watching the Brewers yesterday, coming today, their hitting has gone down just a little bit, but they're still hitting well. So,
yeah, you guys played a close one with the Brewers. It ended 5-4. It was kind of a pitching duel, which is kind of what we're starting to see. You know, as you know, 55 miles an hour is our speed limit here at the SWBL, and we see pitchers are kind of getting used to pitching right at that mark, which kind of makes us a faster pitch league.
It does. And Scott, give me your thoughts on that. Like being in the front office, and you've been here since season 5.
Season 5.
Season
Me
5.
and you.
Yes. You've been here since season 5. What have you seen with pitching from season 5 to season 18 now?
Yeah. So I will try to not hold back on this, but also hold back as well. But I would definitely say, you know, over the years, I mean, really. Before franchise era, I mean, we were just young guns.
Yep.
You know, really just kind of throwing the ball in there, enjoying wiffle ball, enjoying being together. And I think the franchise era obviously kicked off a new era for our league. And if there's a new viewer, welcome. And the franchise era means that these different team names, the Brewers, the Expos, they're all different franchises. And historically, we would change teams every year. But the franchise era created consistency within the teams. You can sign, trade, and add new players if you would like. So once that happened, I would say the pitching has slowly and then also exponentially at the same time gotten better and better.
Yep.
I would say we're in that exponential run right now as a league.
Yep.
And to answer your question, I would say it's the fastest we've ever pitched or had to deal with for this league. And I actually think it's a little bruise for the SWBL. You know, I don't want to take anything away from the talents of these new pitchers that have kind of rose to stardom. But I would also say we kind of lose what we've always said is we want to be a hitter's league.
Yeah.
And what I've seen so far in the past day, because I wasn't here yesterday, abiding by COVID rules for anybody watching. I would say that I actually just lost my train of thought.
Hey, that's okay.
No. I would say that yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say. Dang it, there was a big crescendo, but
that was a very big crescendo to just nothing.
Oh, what, I lost
so,
it. Because the game was about to. Oh, what I'll say is to take nothing away from these pitchers, but I actually think that we need to go back to
the roots. Yeah, and I think adaptation is good for any league, and I feel like we have adapted well to the fast speed because every team has elevated a little bit in their speed. But I think I would agree with you. I loved the league when it was a pure just you hit bombs, and that's the fun.
Yeah, what I've seen, I was also going to add to this before I lost my train of thought, is I've seen it creates a competitive advantage if you have a pitcher that throws hard versus some of these teams that don't have a pitcher that throws hard. They are not going to do as well.
For sure.
So
it's a big advantage to have someone that can throw right at that 55 mark.
So as we start the game, ladies and gentlemen, we got Brett Spencer that just hits a liner to right field, looking for a double. Looks like he's going to get there. Potentially going for the triple. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's out. First and foremost, want to make sure that Brett is okay. And he is out. Yes. What an incredible start to my voice was just gone because that was such an exciting play. If you didn't see it, Brett Spencer hit a perfect ball down the line. He one of few people in the league that can actually hit it to the right field. He did it and sprinted to second. There was an overthrow, wild throw, and he got thrown out coming to third base. That was one of the more exciting plays we've seen today, isn't it, Scott? I would agree. And good start to the Brewers. Got their defense.
Good hit by Jimmy.
Another hit by Jimmy, looking for. So what we have here is we got PG on the mound, which Gus alluded to earlier, is the ace for the Brewers. In right field is Derek Cornell, brother of Kyle Cornell.
Yes.
And Peter Light in left.
Yes, and Kyle Cornell is not here this.
Wet.
Looks like more a wave.
Just in time, we're back, Scott. Sorry about that. Looks like
that's all right. Sorry, everybody, if we had a viewer and you got kicked off. We are continuing our coverage of the Expos and Brewers.
Peter just flied out. That's the only thing you've missed from the Brew Crew.
Yep. And we have, for the Expos defense, we have Jimmy Nelson on the mound, who is the flamethrower for the Expos. And in right field, we have John Light, brother of Peter Light, who is the left fielder of the Brewers.
Family here.
And we got a lot of family. And then in left field, we have Brett Spencer, who, last year he was a part of the Rockies. The past few years, helped him win a championship. And, you could definitely tell earlier this morning that the Rockies missed him.
Yeah, and, Brett hasn't played left field since 2015.
Holy smokes.
So... we almost got a souvenir for us there. And, since 2015, Brett hasn't played left field and with the Cardinals, and now he's playing left field anytime he's not pitching for the Expos, Scott.
Yeah, which is, for the Expos, who historically have not done that well on defense, to have Brett be in left field is definitely an added bonus.
It is. And, Matt Germer is going to be kind of that left field replacement when Brett is pitching, I believe. And Matt Germer, I'm not quite sure why he doesn't play right field then to get those extra reps. But
that's a good idea.
And Jimmy takes a strikeout. And, Jimmy's going to shut down a lot of hitters, a lot of great hitters. He shut me down earlier. He has shut PG down, Evanson, that at bat. So it's a great knuckleball. And right now he seems to be in the speed limit area. So
like kind of Gus and I were starting to chat about before the live stream went out. That we've definitely seen a rise in the speed of the pitching over the past really just a year. And we want to congratulate the pitchers that are doing well, but we do have probably two of the hardest throwers in the league facing off against each other right now, and they seem to be respecting the 55 mile an hour.
Both of them are doing a great job kind of staying, and they're kind of on that.
Gus is yelling at us. He's jealous. He wants to be part of the live stream.
I'll switch to them in just a moment. We're gonna I just kind of like talking to you for a little bit, Scott, and Scott, we want to look at the field, and this is a great angle right now we have to see the scoreboard. You see the decal on the strike zone, which I think has been even almost, I know the scoreboard's a big hit, but almost just as big of a hit has been the strike zone this year. Just that simple decal.
Yeah, abiding by COVID rules. I wasn't here yesterday, and I got to see my it's not a niece. What is it? My nephew. I got to hang out with my nephew yesterday. So I love the field, but I wanted to go hang out with him before this weekend. And I actually saw, Kevin Polito has great graphics for us.
Of course, I mean, there's no doubt.
And I actually saw a picture of the strike zone and thought that he had photoshopped.
Really? It looked that good,
It looked that good. I thought, I was like, wow, that was a creative Photoshop. So I got here this morning, we had a 7 a.m. game this morning, and I saw it on the strike zone. I was like, that thing's real?
It is live in person.
Yeah.
It's a really cool addition. We got a new tin this year because the other tin was so dented. And it's actually holding up really well.
It is.
We actually made the screws a little looser this year, so that gives it a little give.
That's smart.
When it hits the zone. So, but yeah, you're right. These two are two of the harder throwers in the league. But like you said, kind of staying around that 55-mile-an-hour mark. But they were the 1 and 2 MVPs for Summer League, really, with Jimmy and PG.
Wow.
And PG having a great year this year. Kind of got shut down by the Braves last time, and now getting kind of shut down by the Expos.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an interesting year. I tell you what, there's only one team.
Ooh, Brett going yard. It's a big hit right there.
That's why they signed him. Only one team right now, and it's early on Saturday, only one team is undefeated. Usually we have 2 or 3 still right now.
I would agree with you. And surprisingly, it's the 5th pre-ranked by the front office, the 5th ranked Braves. And, a lot of that, not to take any away from your pitching, because your pitching has been outstanding, but it's been Gus as really, from a driving in runs, as we see Jimmy Nelson.
And that's what the Expos need to do. They need to have Brett and Jimmy going if they're going to have any success on offense. And you're right. The Braves' MO has been the pitching, really, because they've given up 1 run.
Yep.
3 runs and 4 runs.
Yep.
And when you win 5-3 and 5-4, and out of those 10 RBIs, Gus probably has 8 or 9 of them. So Gus has been rolling really well for the Braves, and he's been the only source of offense. So hopefully myself, Paul, and Steve can find something if we're going to compliment Gus in any way coming down the stretch here with some really good teams to face.
Definitely. And what a great compliment that you and your brother can offer each other. You're doing great on the mound. Gus is doing great on hitting. You know, if either one of you is out of balance, it doesn't matter how good Gus hits, or it doesn't matter how good you pitch.
Yeah, hopefully it can all stick together for the Braves on this weird year where they have 1 year just to prove themselves, kind of thing. And I know your team started 0-2 in the morning, but plenty left of wiffle ball to play for sure. And you're facing 2 of the teams that were right behind you in the preseason rankings, so you got to believe you're gonna get some chances to get some feet wet, and so many people on your team haven't had reps in so long. Same back at Jackson Crosby, obviously missing John Callaway. So it's a different year.
So Sam, as we take a look at these teams, if you were on each team, so let's take the Expos because they're hitting right now.
Oh, and Evan.
Oh,
Evan,
man.
just home run.
Back to back.
Wow, the Expos need it.
That's huge, especially playing what we just mentioned about the pitching. For them to come out and have 3 home runs in this inning, it's a big deal.
Can we talk quickly also the Expos? Andy Oldenburg, the big return, got his first at bat for the Expos last game, and it was 1 pitch.
Yep.
He forgot about the rule. The new rule wasn't around when he was in the league.
Yep.
Can't believe he forgot it.
It's one of the things that we alluded to at the beginning of this before we got rudely interrupted by GoPro was just the transition and how pitching has evolved over the years. And even the strike zone, now it's a 1-pitch strike. And the last time Andy was here, I would say the pitching was a lot worse.
Sure, for sure.
And the strike zone thing. So to what you just said, Sam, we love to see him back, but man, I actually I love you, Andy, but I was also thinking there's a good chance he strikes out here.
You gotta adjust quickly for sure in this brand new game, and it's constantly every year we've been adding new rules that kind of help the pitcher out because it's been such a hitting league, and now we've kind of seen it kind of rise. And saying that's a strikeout there from PG, needed that for sure. Foul tips it into the zone, but at the beginning on opening day, I thought we were going to have huge games again, 18-0 games, 15-4, some wild games. You're never expected it, and now we're starting to see really the pitching kind of take hold here on the deep into the warm Saturday.
Yep, it's starting to balance out.
Yes, a lot of games here have been single-digit runs from both teams the past 3 games.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really exciting season, I think, and nobody could predict what's going to happen, I don't think.
Yeah, it is actually hard. Usually, I mean, even we were just talking earlier about the playoffs. Like, who do you think is going to make the playoffs? And over the past probably 5 years, you could probably bet on the same 5 teams. But with some of these off-season transactions and change-ups and people not being able to come and people, still able to come, like, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen.
And it's hard, too, because, like, Jimmy.
Oh, man.
I mean, this is just.
Here we go.
This is what the Expos needed for sure. And it's hard, too, because, we aren't going to ever put an asterisk on this season. But, like, in the back of people's minds, you got to believe. I mean, there's some type of asterisk in the back of people's minds, but I don't want to take away from the champion that comes at it because this might be the most even year we've ever had.
Yeah.
For any division, any season.
Yeah, you bring up, we get a souvenir. Oh.
Foul anyway.
You bring up a good point. I think as PG here you go winds up.
There's a lot of people missing, is like, what we're getting at. There's so many people missing from the season that we missed, and you saw a lot of them in the first pitch ceremonies, but even more than that, missing a complete team in the Diamondbacks, who were
Trent,
and
Austin.
Oh my gosh, there it is.
Smokes.
Evan, Brett, and Jimmy are leading this team, leading the charge against PG, who is one of the best pitchers in our league this year.
I would agree with you, but even what we were just talking, summer league may be different. He's different coming on the mound.
PG pitched a complete game shutout against the Astros yesterday, and then took a tough game loss to the Braves, losing 5-4. And then in this game, obviously giving up 6 runs right here in this inning to the Expos, not where they want to be in the second inning, especially giving Jimmy Nelson that much leeway.
Man, yeah, it's going to be hard, especially with the Brewers missing some of their key contributors like Kyle Cornell, and it's going to be hard for them to come back.
Yeah, and the Brewers is an interesting team this year. There's, Kyle Cornell actually golfing right now instead of football out on the golf course, and that's fine. You had it planned, do what you got to do. But I mean, you can golf anytime. Let's be real, unless there's somebody from out of town or something like that. But your team needs you.
Team definitely.
But I will
needs
tell
him.
you, the Brewers made a very smart signing in Josh Rogers.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And Josh Rogers, 6 for 6 in Game 1.
Incredible.
6 for 6. First pitch he sees as a free agent, home run.
Wow.
I mean, Josh Rogers was the spark plug that the Brewers needed to get that win at the beginning of the day. And Josh Rogers had a decent game against the Braves, but it just wasn't quite enough to get them over the hump in that 5-4 game. But
he was the last at bat.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he wasn't, because he got on base. He did that little bloop single, and the last at bat was Derek Cornell.
Yeah, Derek Cornell. Yep. Derek led off that game, but now Peter took over the reins as the leadoff hitter for the Brewers in this game here. And a beautiful pitch from PG hits the bottom corner. 2 strikes. Don't worry, folks. Gus Gibby will be back after this inning. He's just taking stats, and I should just teach people how to do the GoPro. That way you guys know how,
Yeah, just in case it happens again.
It's pretty simple. All you got to do is press 2 buttons, and you're pretty much there. So I should just show you next time. And PG gets out of it without going to 7. That's definitely a big start. And ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, Scott. I'll let you take over. Why don't you talk about some sponsorships while I'm going to get Gus for all the division sponsors, press conference.
We'd like to thank our sponsors. We have Cardinal Blinds and Shutters. Shout out Spencer Bogad. They are sponsoring the press conference. We have our sponsor Breckx, which they've actually done a pretty unique thing this year for us. They have put these buckets in the trees, and if someone hits the bucket, each team, if they wanted to participate, put in like $5 a player, and if you hit the bucket, then you get 50% of the pot. And then if there's another person that hits it, the next person gets 50% of the remaining pot. So we appreciate Breckx. They do our uniforms, our koozies, our towels, any kind of swag that you see. We see a liner from Derek Cornell and a one-arm grab from John Light. We really appreciate them. As you see, Gus Gibby running back here to join me in my announcing. And lastly, our last division sponsor, we can't forget the Glendale Jeep, Dodge, and Ram. You can't see it right now, ladies and gentlemen, but they have 2 Jeeps in left field. And
Did you see that catch?
We did.
I don't think John was even looking at he was looking in the sky, and it hit him in the chest.
So we appreciate all you sponsors. We're looking for more. We'd love to just continue this tradition that we've had for 18 years, and we definitely can't do it without your help. We also, Ketting Eye Center, If you need glasses, if you need contacts, if you need your eyes checked, if you need whatever you need regarding your eyes, they are the best. Best
Yes.
eye doctors here in St. Louis.
And I know for sure there are at least 5, 6. I know my whole family goes.
My whole family goes.
Okay, so I mean that's double digits there already. So
Yep.
they
Yep.
are the best.
Yep. So we appreciate our sponsors, and as we see Jimmy just throw a heater to Josh here. So we thank you, and we'll get back to the game. Gus, welcome back.
Yeah,
You were missed.
I was actually kind of upset that Sam just started talking.
Sam said, "I just want to be here. I want to hang. I want to talk right now." So, we appreciate Sam everything he does, and he's taking stats now.
I was.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. And I was just not alluding. I was just talking with Brett Spencer in the score tent. And,
Ooh, do you have some good insight for us?
no, we were just talking about Sam and how much he does for the SWBL, and we're like, this league and this weekend would not happen if it wasn't for Sam. He does 95% of the work, and we just kind of help out during the weekend. And honestly, we can't thank him enough for all of his efforts and his passion for wiffle ball. So
couldn't have said it any better. Ooh, is Jimmy looking for a walk-off strikeout there, but instead gets a walk. Josh Roberts at first base. Peter Light. Peter, as the captain of the Brewers.
Yeah.
Coming up with a man on first, you gotta think he's thinking, I need to help my team out.
Yep.
Ooh.
It's gonna hit the tree. Yep, hit the tree.
Here we go. Oh, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't see that, Gus, why don't you do that?
Wow. So what happened was Peter hit it. It hit the tree. John caught it. John did not know. He thought it was an out. He caught it and he was like, this is an out. But Peter was running right by and John threw it and nailed him. So that does count as an out, but it was not a fly out. It was a force out.
And if you don't know, the tree, that big old pine tree right there, the tree is actually in play. So if you hit it and someone catches it off of there,
it's like a big green monster.
Yeah. So what you just saw there is John Light kind of having a accidental, maybe, heads up play.
He had 2 great fielding plays. Those are.
He got both the outs.
And I think both of them, he did not know what was going on.
He didn't.
So, we got the score. It's 6-0. Top 3, I believe. I'm not sure. I was just keeping score, and this White Claw, one White Claw in. And,
one White Claw in. Are you starting to feel it?
I'm starting to feel it, maybe a little bit. So, yeah.
I would say that I'm interested to see the last time that you were on the scores table.
Yes.
Brett, Jimmy, and who was the last one? Who was the other that hit the home run?
I have no idea.
Oh. Well, they went back to back twice while you were up there.
Really?
So let's see if the mojo continue with the
Oh.
skibby switch over here.
Brett, Jimmy, and Evan Close.
Evan, that's who I was thinking of, yes. So big inning here for PGs. You got to think that you can't let this lead get out of hand.
Wow, that was a great pitch. Great strikeout pitch. Top left corner, if you did not see that. PG has really been working on his craft over the offseason, and he has really improved. So he's going to get a lot of innings this year, and it's hopefully propel the Brewers to a top seed in the playoffs. So
I've seen some videos of, you talked about PG working on his craft in the offseason. I think, due to COVID especially, but he went all the way up to Wisconsin and worked out. I think he brought some balls and some bats, and him and his family.
Yeah. And I heard the climate in Wisconsin, it's an attribute to helping you out with your endurance and your wiffle ball pitches. So that's why PG went up there. I think he was up there for months practicing.
It's kind of like how runners go to Colorado for the high altitude.
Yes, exactly. Just like when baseball players go to the Colorado Rocky Stadium, the altitude and the elevation, it's easier to hit a home run. And that's what PG was just doing. So
a big strikeout there, getting through the heart of the order.
Yes. So I'm not sure. It's 6-0. I think it is the
bottom third.
Bottom three. Are we
yeah.
sure the Brewers are home?
Peter, are you guys home?
We're home.
Yep.
Is it bottom 3 or bottom 4?
I think it's bottom 3.
Okay. So he's still got 3 more at bats. I think it's bottom 4. Sam, what is the inning?
6-0. Expos aren't the
Bottom 3. There we go.
Sorry, Peter, I didn't believe you, but I should have.
So, Gus, you're in Kansas City.
I am in Kansas City.
That's where you reside, you and your family. Is it good to be back here?
I always love coming back home, and growing up in St. Louis and playing wiffle ball my entire life.
Yep.
Ever since I was in 2nd grade, that's when my brother started the league. That might be false, but I love coming back, especially for wiffle ball weekend, because it's just a time to get away. And I'm a teacher, and I start school on Tuesday. Kids come full time, and it's kind of a nice a break until all the madness starts. It's nice to see friends and talk with them, and it's a little different this year with COVID. But I'm super pumped to be here with some of my closest friends. So.
Well, it is good to be with you. I wish that you lived in St. Louis.
Yes, and
but you also just celebrated your daughter's 1st birthday.
no, we did not. My daughter is turning 2 in October.
Oh my God, you're right. I'm thinking of Paul.
And
Paul
when I was talking about my closest friends, you were a part of that, but I'm gonna take you off that list now.
Oh no! Don't do that.
Because that's like
that is terrible. I would agree with
bad.
you. That was pretty bad.
And we even FaceTime with Jane a lot over the summer.
God, dang it.
She's obviously not one.
Oh no. Brett Spencer was playing pretty deep.
Yeah. Jimmy had a good pitch. PG did not get a really good hit on it, and Brett made a really good play on that, but just a little too late. But yeah, I'm just kidding, Scott. I love you, and
oh yeah, it's
we've been friends since 6th grade, and
won a championship here together.
We won season 5.
Woo!
And little did you know, Scott, that is the last time I've won a championship, which is 13. Can you believe that? 13 years ago is the last time I have won an SWBL championship.
As we grow older, we would hear people before us talk about being friends for over 10 years, and we'd always be like, wow, Jimmy Nelson just throws. That was in the 55-mile speed range. It just looked like the Brewers were being a little picky there.
Yes.
Will you text Steve?
Yep.
They're using my phone.
Got it. And guys, guess who joins us?
Yep. So we have Paul Castellano, 4-time SWBL champion, 3-time franchise era champion. And it's kind of floated, like we talked about earlier. It's floated floated on a few teams since the Rays disbanded. Going to the A's, being a part of the Shock the World movement, and and the Royals, and now a part of the Braves.
And I want to talk about this, Paul.
We're live.
And this is, and I've said this, the best franchise, and I think the best franchise ever, without question, from now to the end of wiffle ball at the Blur is going to be the Rays.
Yeah.
They played 4 years, 3 championships, and their last year was with kind of a hodgepodge team, and it didn't really work out, so they disbanded. So you can't.
We actually went 6-4 that year.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Which year?
Last year we just didn't make the playoffs.
Interesting. So, the best franchise in my eyes ever. So, Paul, was it the right time to disband the Rays?
You gotta ask Chris Meadow.
Chris. It did seem like Chris was ready to get out of there. But hey, I also told in the earlier live stream, I kind of told the origin of how the Rays became the Rays with the fateful meeting down there. Paul, you remember this? It was me, you, Paul, and who was the last one? Who was the last one?
Sam.
No, it was Spencer.
Spencer was the other captain because he was the Indians and they were terrible.
So when we transitioned into the franchise era, we alluded to it earlier. The franchise is, consistency, teams, kind of building upon their teams from previous years and thinking about future. And so when the franchise era happened, the 4 players that wanted to have a franchise all gathered in the Skibby's basement on the faithful round table. And we said, how are we going to do this to make it fair? And to Paul's credit, Paul was probably the worst player there.
Of the 4.
Of the 4.
Yeah.
And at the time. That's the key difference there. And so he says, okay, so we gave him Chris and Derek. Well, we didn't give him. You chose Chris and Derek. And little did we know, Paul, very next year, Paul would become the best player almost in the league. Was that the year you hit 43 home runs? Or was that the year after? You hold the beginning franchise era home run record at like 43 home runs.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably first.
And I don't think any of us came anywhere close. So here you have two of the top players in the league now to get. I mean it, and we had like scraps for for our team. No offense to all the other players, but no, they at the end of the day, what we did say in that last live stream is, even if you have all the talent, you still have to go forth and win the games and put together a season.
Yep, for sure.
So we congratulate them. There's nothing taken away. I agree. One of the most dominant franchises.
There's just a
Period.
small asterisk by it, but whatever.
Just a small one, you know. We always need to clarify. I'm just kidding. So ever since that one inning where Gus was in the scorer's table, the Expos had a 6-run inning, and we've just seen nothing really going ever since.
This is very surprising, and you know the Expos have never made the playoffs, and they've been around for I think 4 or 5 seasons.
6-0.
This would be a big win against the Brewers to propel them possibly to the playoffs. Yeah, they're up 6-0 right now. So they win this game, they will be 2-1.
And the Brewers would have lost every game today. Then. Would that be right? Oh, they beat the Marlins.
They started out 2-0 yesterday. They just beat the Marlins. They're 3-1 right now. Yeah.
They're 3-1.
And is this their last game today?
I would imagine so. Yeah. So I mean, we talked about it earlier, but Kyle Cornell went golfing, and his team definitely misses him. So Kyle Cornell, if you're watching, you probably don't feel bad, but you should.
I don't think he's watching.
I doubt it. So Gus, let's kind of go through a what-if scenario here.
Sure.
Put yourself on the Brewers.
Yep.
You're down.
That's a great idea.
That's smart.
We said just put a bunch of C's in your mouth and you can't yell.
My dad's not out here anyway, and my daughter, so.
We don't want to do anything. I want to do anything. It's not like somebody's going to hit a home run off me.
Yeah, that's the confidence you need.
Dude, you shouldn't have said that. Peter's fat, dude.
So if you're on the Brewers, I don't know. God, that's fast.
I think that was not that bad, to be honest.
Maybe it's the light
Wait till you
change.
see a slider.
The slider's
Slider's probably
the one that curves.
85 miles an hour.
85.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, it's very
So if you're on the Brewers and you're up to bat right now, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, you know, we got to play small ball. Like Peter just flew out right there. That is what you do not want to do. I think get base runners, possibly some walks.
Yep.
Because
See a lot of pitches.
It is almost impossible to go and get 6 home runs in one inning to tie the game. So you got to get base runners. It's very important.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, not to pat ourselves on the back here, but when we were down, almost 10 runs in SWBL season 5?
Yep.
The only reason why we won that game is, you know, that was back in the 2-man era, as we see PG screamer line drive down left field, and Brett, you know, we talked about a good addition to the Expos, not only pitching, hitting,
I mean, their
but
fielding has improved a lot.
Yep.
And that was their biggest downfall the past few years is their fielding.
Yeah.
And no offense to John Lyon left field, but
the sweatpants, you know, it just gets hot.
It's honestly, it's the butt crack that has the hole in it. That's the problem.
And the right knee looks to be just cut open.
I literally don't think he washes them all year. I think I've talked to him. He sometimes tries to scrub out the dirt, but that is the.
Oh, we can't have that.
So that was a hard hit ball, kind of tricky. He bobbled it a little bit, and PG bobbled it too. So that's unfortunate for the Brewers, especially they need some outs here.
They definitely need some outs. And, you know, it's just hard. You know, last year I remember me and Sam Backler were calling a game against the Brewers. And it was Brewers versus Twins. And they were down 13 runs in the bottom half of the inning. And I was, you know, I was being fair, but also probably a little too critical. It just seemed like their spirit. Oh, man. Huge! Wow. You know, we're just talking about this. I was just about to say this. I was just about to say that they look dejected, they don't look like themselves, and that I would hate to say almost like giving up.
Yes, yes.
But here we have it. Here we go again.
You know,
here we go again.
I just leaned forward in my chair because
you did.
That is the
propeller.
That's the propeller that they need.
Propels.
Going into the top of the 5th to get 6 runs, and that's a big double play to hold them and keep them at 6 runs.
I would agree. I mean, I mean, especially with the ambiance of what's going on in the league, there's no loud music. There's not a ton of people. The energy's lower. So when it almost seems like if you get down,
Scott,
you are down.
You know, and I'll Venmo you $10 right now if you can spell the word ambiance, because you know, to all my future employers or my past educators, I don't want to embarrass you, so I won't even take that bet. Because that word is so good. But I mean, I don't even know what it starts with. Is it an A?
Ooh,
is it an O?
It's tricky.
That's a tough one.
It's tricky. Paul, the biology
anyway, sorry. Back to the game. Derek Cornell just got out, top of the 5th. You know, the Brewers have to be.
Yep.
The Brewers have to be a little dejected.
Yep. Dejected.
So,
yep.
and you know, I'm using words I don't even know are real or not. So, this one White Claw.
One White Claw. This is so if you don't know, if you are new to the SWBL, welcome, but it's a 2-out inning.
Yes.
So having your first batter get out is just a mountain, especially when we got Jimmy Nelson on the mound, trying to come back from the 0. And there it is. That's the game. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you, Gus.
Wow, and can you believe, real quick, the Brewers, 0 runs.
That's
the
hard.
First day they scored 15 and 18 runs, and now 0. You gotta give credit to Jimmy Nelson with a great pitching performance. But yeah, they shut out the Brewers.
Yeah, and it just goes to show the SWBL having it being a week-long tournament is not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Absolutely.
And every day can be different. And if you have an off day when you have 4 games,
absolutely,
it can be detrimental to your team.
Anybody can win, especially in the playoffs. Any team that has the chance to take it to the top.
Yeah. So Gus, while we have you, you're about to play.
Yeah, I am.
What do you think? Who do you play?
I think we play the Astros, which I don't even know if they're here.
I don't even see them.
But you know, we're excited to play, and we need to first have the Brewers and the Expos leave for COVID restrictions.
Yep.
To make sure that we're staying safe here. So.
Yep.
Well. Yeah, we had a great time, great game, great pitching performance. Scott, any last words?
It's been a pleasure to do this announcing with you.
Yes, it has.
Ladies and gentlemen, SWBL season 18. We're about midway through Saturday. So if we hop on again, we look forward to seeing you. But if not, thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for joining us.